How's it going, everyone? Taki here. This is going to be a mini review of the new Bluetooth version of the X2 controller from GameSir. Quick unboxing, the controller comes with a branded protective carrying case with one net pocket on the side. This current model comes with a matte gray finish with a proper D-pad and almost the exact same design as the original controller from last year. Obviously, I've already used the original version of this in a lot of videos. It's also a telescope controller, but the difference is that this white one has a Type-C connection with pass-through power delivery through the bottom port, whereas the new controller has no direct connection to the phone and its own internal batteries. As you can see, the controllers are physically identical to one another. Let's take a look at the new controller by itself. We have dual analogs, and they are really nice. They require very little force to move in any direction that you want. We also have a proper D-pad on this version, and the D-pad is styled after the 3DS with slightly raised edges from the center, which makes it really comfortable to rest your thumb on. A, B, X, Y are tactile switches that have a slightly muted tone to them with a satisfying click when pressed, and this is the same feeling that you'll get from all the other 4 buttons on the controller. I also want to mention that this controller does have L3 and R3 functionality like you'd expect. On the bottom half, we still have our Type-C port, but now it is used for charging the device itself along with the power button for the controller. The L and R buttons are digital only, and these sit on switches that feel like the ones that you'd find in a typical computer mouse. On the back, we have a clear view of that matte finish, which rejects fingerprints very well, along with the indented GameSir logo in the middle. On the sides, you have a rubber grip for your hands, and this is the part of the controller that I've always liked more than anything else, especially the emulator that was tied to the original version of this controller. Your mileage may vary for this, but I find that this grip is extremely comfortable in the hand for longer gaming sessions, and I like how easy it is to not lose my grip. Now let's talk about the overall structure. Usually when you're using these telescope controllers, they are rock solid when they are fully collapsed, but the moment that you start expanding them to hold bigger phones, they start to get very flimsy, and this is the maximum setting, which is big enough to just hold the Red Magic 6. With slightly smaller phones like the X3 Pro, you'll still have a good amount of stability. A good thing about this design is that you have a good amount of airflow over the phone's processor with this big gap, ensuring that you can get the best gaming performance with passive cooling. You're also never going to be able to feel the heat from the back of your phone through the other side of this gap. This controller comes with screen mapping software, but I don't like to use it, and part of the reason why is due to how the app works and the steps that you need to take to get it to work. You're going to need to download a second application that's not found on the App Store, and due to the way that screen mapping works on Android by accessing deep parts of the system, the app will get flagged by Play Protect. But I will just show you that the controller does work well once you've gone through the steps required to get it up and running. This goes for any controller that supports screen functionality, but I never use these controllers on my personal phone due to the privileges that you need to grant in order for them to function. It's unavoidable because they need to make the system register finger touch events when there is no physical connection with the screen, so it's just something that you should be aware of if you're looking at buying these for your phone. I'm going to set this device back to the normal Bluetooth mode now by turning it off and then holding down the power button and A until there's a darker blue LED indicator light on the right side. When you're in this mode, you don't need any special applications at all for the controller to work, and all of the buttons will function as you'd expect. Any game with native controller support will work along with any emulators that allow you to remap buttons like RetroArch. I've never used the Type-C version of this controller with the proper D-pad, so this was a welcome surprise, as is the ability to use this as a separate controller by itself without needing to hold up a phone. Finishing up, the included carrying case is a nice touch for what is essentially selling for the same price as the original controller was last year, albeit without any access to the Nintendo Switch emulator. If there's something else that you'd like to know about this, feel free to leave those below, and I'll catch you here next time with another video. Taki out.